we'll be chattering and nattering in the Garden County shed. But if a decent match comes up, then we'll do that instead.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
Murphy's Liquidation Furniture and Garden County Sport.
Hello and welcome to our Thursday night preview of the weekend. We're live in Garden County Sport headquarters. We're joined by Emmett O'Sullivan again this week. We have a lot to come up in the next hour. We have Jonathan Tallon joining us on the phone to discuss the Celtic Challenge and the puck fodder taking place this weekend on the Sugarloaf. Other stuff happened this weekend. Lucy Mulhall's in action in Kazan in the Rugby Sevens, Alan.
She is, Kev, yeah. She is over there and they are in the Rugby Europe Olympic qualifying tournament. The winner of it goes on to play in the 2020 Olympic, and second and third go and get another crack at the whip the following year. In Ireland's group now, they have a tough enough group. They have Spain, Ireland, Romania and Czech Republic. Also in that is lining out for Romania is where Lucy used to play again, Andrea Petru, I think is her name. They both played in Rathdrum. Now, first kick-off, throw-in, tee-off. She's playing for Romania. Is 10:06 Irish time.
On Saturday morning. Yeah, so Lucy, that's going to be. We'll have updates on our social media of Lucy's games, so we'll try to keep you up to date with that. Other events around. Paul Dunn was in action today in the Scottish Open. Paul shot a 1-under round. He had a double bogey on the 8th hole. Recovered to finish on 1-under, a tie for 95th place at the moment. 7 shots off the lead. Matt Kuchar and Eduardo Molinari are among the group on 8-under, with Padraig Harrington and Rory McIlroy both on 4-under. Tomorrow night, Bray Wanderers will be playing Limerick in the Airtricity League. That is in the Carlisle grounds, and there's free admission for the under 12s. So if you're in the area, it's a good chance to go. Bray are hopefully going to be fighting for promotion playoff spots. They need all the support they can get there. Also on Saturday, we have a camogie match in Wicklow in Dunbar Park. Wicklow are playing Offaly in the Leinster Junior Camogie Championship, hoping to continue the good run going after capturing an elite title earlier in the year against Louth that day. And I think we have Jonathan on the line with us right now. Jonathan, are you there?
Yeah, how are you going, lads?
Well, Jonathan, how are you?
Not too bad now. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome, Jonathan. You have Alan, Kevin and Emmett O'Sullivan here. We're going to put you through the wheels of motion here now and just rack your brain.
Yeah.
First of all, obviously, thanks for coming in. Topic 1, Celtic Challenge. You've been with the academies there now for a while. What you've done with him has been phenomenal. You've been a revelation, I suppose. You're going to be a big loss. You've handed in your notice. Is that the right word to say? And you're going travelling, and the best of luck with it anyway. But what has it meant to you, and what have you got out of it? Obviously, we saw what you've produced with them, but what has it meant to yourself?
I suppose, to be very honest with you, it gave me a realisation as to what coaches have done for me in the past. I suppose I went in first of all, and I suppose the first task was getting together a group of under 14 players in Wicklow, and I think the first training down we put out the message to the clubs, and I think we had 4 or 5 lads showed up, and obviously it has grown a little bit since from then. We had 47 lads on the panel now for the minor this year, so I suppose it's nice to see where it has started and what the potential is in the county, do you know?
But it is, and it's just getting people to row in behind you. You see the same with the football, and when you get them to a winning mentality, anything at all, and then you can see it's producing on the hurling as well. And I will say, on a personal thing, there's not enough recognition given to the hurling on any code. It's always football gets kind of first preference, and that's the way it looks. But it's not fair either, because you are producing. You went up against big tough opposition this year, and you held your own. You mightn't have got the results you were looking for, and we had that there last week. But you didn't get bare out the gate, and you went up against Limerick there, and you didn't you're doing well enough.
Yeah, in fairness to the lads, look, we know ourselves. The first half we didn't perform to our best, but the way they went out in the second half and kept Limerick to 1 score, it was phenomenal. The performance that they put in. But I suppose, look, it comes down to structures, really. I mean, the fact now that this year alone, the lads have been subject to S&C once a week on top of their training schedule. So, like, the 14s and the 15s have started with that now. So they're starting at the very beginning with these structures. So, like, it can only improve them. I mean, you look at the minors this year and the size difference in them from the 5 or 6 months that we were inside in the gym, and then when we brought that out onto the field, they were quicker, they were faster, they were stronger, they were more confident in their own hurling. And I mean, that was only talking to lads who were 16, 17 years of age. You put that into 13, 14-year-olds and give them 3 and 4 years of it. Sure, it can only benefit them, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And, like, let's not forget, you had 2 teams. Like, this wasn't just one team competing. It was 2 teams down the middle, you know. And like, if you had been able to, if I'm right in saying, you only had half a team, if that's the right word to say, out again, Limerick. You hadn't got a full contingent of what you had to your disposal, like.
Well, to be honest with you, now we had every player we wanted when it came to the Celtic Cup.
Right.
Now, look, there was 3 lads came back from the football after they unfortunately got knocked out. But look, it's like everybody who wanted to hurl was there, you know. Now, yes, we had to make a decision between who was going to be on the blue and who was going to be on the goal.
Yes.
And, like, that was probably the toughest part of it, because obviously I think we had, was it 34 under 17 players, and then the rest was made up of under 16. So, like, we were trying to balance between getting guys who were going to be the core team for next year, as well as keeping lads involved who are involved in under 17 who have put in the effort over the last 2-3 years. So, I mean, it was kind of a balancing act, to be very honest. But I mean, geez, like, you saw the results there with the goal team, and I hate using the word A and B, but
yeah,
I suppose when you look at our so-called, or on paper, our B team, they went out and they took on the likes of Antrim there, who went on to win the competition. I mean, they were an under 17 side, and a lot of under 16s went up against them and hurled them well.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, the standard is there, the players are there. I suppose, as you said, it's just about backing them now. And I think, in fairness to the county board, we put a plan in place and we told them what we needed. And in fairness to them, they backed us. They gave us their S&C. They gave us our nutrition. You know, yes, obviously there was things that we need to work on and make sure that we have it 100% for following years. But I mean, it was a very, very good start, I think.
Well, look at that. It is great anyway. It is, and like I say, the proof is in the pudding. That's the way to go about it, you know what to say. And like, we'll just quickly move on to the under 20s. They had a smashing win there the last day out, and they're tough now. Up against tough opponents now the next day.
Yes, Kerry.
Yeah.
I suppose, like, the last time they met Kerry was obviously in 2 years ago in the final down in Temple Stadium. And like, you saw from that outfit that day, like, geez, there were huge men, well able to hurl, good and fast, and Goulding there in the corner forward, like, he's lighting up the inter-county scene at the minute at senior level. So the standard there was fantastic. Like, the work obviously has been going on in Kerry, so no reason to believe that there'll be any easier of a team to face now on Saturday. I mean, they'd be one of the favourites of the competition at the minute. Like,
well, looking at the team on paper, like, there's on our own side, there's fine hurlers on that team. Like, there is fine hurlers in the county on the 120s.
Unbelievable. And I was actually only talking to Gavin Weir today about it even. He captained the 2015 side to win it for Wicklow. But, like, we were even just talking about the lads who are available this year, and we honestly think that they'd beat any senior team in Wicklow at the minute. And more than likely, they probably would have given that 2015 team a very good rattle. Yeah. So if we ever had a hope, this year is a very good chance.
Well, that's good, because at the start of it, when trying to get everything together, I know myself, when I was up there a few meetings and all, like, there would be a head scratching going on. Who would you have? Who wouldn't you have? Like, it's a bad time of year for anything, like, with clubs, championship, with holidays, just finish your exams. You know, you just don't know where you are. Like, do you have your best unit? Do you not on the day? You know, trying to keep them together, try and keep them in the right headspace as well.
Yeah. Well, look, as I mentioned, structures there earlier on. I mean, if we're serious about improving any sport and any code, it's like, you have to assume that you're going to do the best you can in every competition. And I mean, if we're looking at fixtures and we're looking at times of year and things, we need to assume that, yes, we're going to get to a final. And if we carry that belief as a county, well, then we can put the matches and club fixtures and anything else that might interfere with it, we can arrange it accordingly.
Yeah.
Like, now look, that's my own personal view on it.
No, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Like, everyone has to be on the same page, and and everyone has to pull together. I know it's not easy at times, but with everything, as you say, rolling behind, but like, it's not easy.
Yeah, no, just on that, just on that, Jonathan, I agree completely with you. You know, this is not the first time this competition has been run at this time of the year or anything. You know, it didn't come out of the blue, like, so. You know, to see a round of hurling matches fixed for this weekend, when that match is fixed for Semple Stadium, it's a bit galling, to be honest, as a GA man from Wicklow. Do you know what I mean? And for you lads that are there at the coalface, it must strike a bit of a bad chord with you as well. You know, I couldn't understand it myself, like, you know.
Yeah, well, look, I suppose it's just one of those things. You know, look, we are where we are, I suppose, in Wicklow, and look, it's every county. But I suppose it's one of these things that if we see an issue, we take it on board, we try and we fix it, and then we make sure that it doesn't happen again the following year. I mean, look, you're entering a competition. It's on every year. If we're entering it, we want to win it. We're not entering it just to field the team at round one and then back to club championship. You know, if we're thinking down that route, we're not really going to be developing it.
No, well, you're dead right. You're after hitting the nail on the head there now with that. You are. Like, you have to have belief. And like, belief 100%, is everything. Like, if you can get that into anyone's head about belief and winning and going in the right direction, I won't say it's half your job done, but it's definitely you're on the right road.
100%. And I mean, look, the players are the ones that need belief, and the only way that we can give them the belief is if the county turn around and they make these decisions very obvious that we're making them because our county team are going to do well. And if the kids out there, I suppose they're men at this stage at under 20, but if they hear something like that, they're going to get the belief from the county because, yes, there's something here. They know that something's going to be happening.
Yeah. Well, look, that's the last we'll talk about that end of it now. We'll just finish up with you there now on the Puck Fada. Just give us a rundown for the people that are listening out there that don't even know what the Puck Fada is now. We know that 90% of them do, but just break it down for us. What does it consist of?
Basically, what it is, it's every county holds their own Puck Fada. So let it be on a racetrack or on a pitch or whatever it might be. It's generally a course, and you have to finish the course in the least number of pucks. The winner then from the under 16 and the senior in each county represent their county at the provincial finals. So look, we're lucky now. We're in our second year of hosting the Leinster final in Wicklow on the Sugarloaf Mountain. It's on this Saturday now. So once the representatives come to that, then we find our winners and we send them up to the Cooley Mountains then on the bank holiday weekend in August, and they compete for the All Ireland.
And who have we got as our own Wicklow representative?
At the under 16 grade, we actually have Micheál Cleary from Dunlavin. He's the goalkeeper for the minor team, and this is his third year after winning the competition. Right. At senior grade, then we have Adam Bush. I'll have to be careful now when I mention his club. He's playing for Bray, but I think he's a Kilmac man. But he's after winning the senior there, and he was playing wing back for the minor team. So it's great to see two minor players excelling in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What time is that pucking off at, Jonathan?
16's kicking off at 10 o'clock and the seniors are kicking off at 12.
And that's from the Sugarloaf around Kilmacano's GA pitch, so is it? Or
no, it's actually the Sugarloaf Mountain itself, so in the car park there.
Okay, perfect.
So it's...
Well, hopefully everything going right. Yep.
Yeah, before... So, Jonathan, you're heading off there on your travels. Will any chance of a comeback for Wicklow in a few years' time?
To be very honest with you, since I handed in the notice now, I won't use the word regret, but I'll definitely miss Wicklow. So I'll never say never. But I think it's time for just the rest for a while and gather my thoughts and come with new plans, hopefully.
Well, you are really, really going to be missed. There is no doubt about it.
Well, that's definite as well.
There is no doubt about it.
The best of luck in your travels, but the work you've put in there and the work you've done, it hasn't gone unnoticed. So,
we haven't heard who's going to fill your boots, but whoever is coming in to fill them, they want to have good feet to fill them boots. I will say that. Now.
Well, there's a good lad there, and Philip Campion. He's a Kilkenny man. He's in and he's been working fairly close with me now the last while. So the reins will be handed over to him now, and I'm sure he'll do a fantastic job.
Well, look, Jonathan, we wish you the best of luck, and we thank you from Garden County's board for everything you've done in the build up to this, with the years you've been there, and the best of luck with your travels.
Thanks a million, lads, and thanks for all the coverage and the support you've given us the last 3 or 4 years as well.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Cheers, Jonathan.
Right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers, lads.
So that's Jonathan Tallon tuning in. He's heading off on his travels. Just to echo, like, we really do appreciate Jonathan's efforts there with Wicklow Hurling over the last while. He's been an excellent servant. Before we go on to the weekend's preview, we had a couple of fixtures over the last couple of days in both hurling and football. On Tuesday night, we had the opening. We had the clash between Rathnew and Newtown in the Senior Football Championship. Rathnew won 2-13 to 2-9 in Ashford. I believe it was the first time Rathnew have played outside of Ockham or Arklow in 24 years.
It's in 95.
Yeah. So
And
Rathnew,
on that team that day was one of our panellists that has absent tonight, Mr. Jonathan Hines. He was down at, played that day for one of his former clubs, Kilcole, St. Patrick Kilcole. Yeah, so
tugged out centre forward, I think, or something.
we had to just give him a little plug there on that one.
So Rathnew getting the win by 4 points in the end.
And right, we're going to have to say it. Emmett O'Sullivan was right. He predicted the win. We basically
I sided with the 1-10 shot. Maybe that's what you're saying.
Right, the form we were going with was Warren missing and didn't know whether Theo was on holidays.
There's no point in saying we're going with the form you
Okay,
were
mine.
going.
Okay, absolutely right. Mine. That weren't sure whether Leighton was going to be playing. Thought we were going to maybe wait for a little bit further down the line to make sure he was 100% right. Obviously, he is 100% right. Basically, what do I know? Theo was on holidays and Warren is still out injured. That's just to mention one or two that's missing. So, like, their main key players be missing off any team, you know. And Newtown got off to a very, very good start. Look what they took off their straight out through the gap with them, you know. They got going, got momentum going. 2-8 to 1 something up there at one stage. And as you on there earlier on, Emmett, they were, instead of looking what's going in front of them, they were looking on what was going on behind them and when were the others going to produce.
It can happen a lot of teams when they get in front of Rathnew. I think, you know, it's almost like, oh, here they come, they're coming. You know, you can hear the footsteps behind you whatsoever. And you know, it's like the same. You know, James Stafford goes in at full forward, nabs a goal again, causes all sorts of trouble. Again, everyone knows it's coming, but you know, no one can seem to stop it. It's, you know, he's good at what he does, and when he goes in there, the ball is good going in as well. To be fair to the rest of the lads with Rathnew, but look, they've toughed it out again. We alluded to it. It's 2 points on the board, but I don't think Newtown, you know, they can go with their head held high. I think if anything, possibly Ashford would suit Rathnew at the minute.
Yeah,
I think maybe Ockram wouldn't have suited him as well against some of Newtown's lighter, faster forwards. I think, like you seen, Ross Davis was probably held scoreless from play there. You know, on a bigger pitch, it probably suit Ross better as well. So, you know, Rathnew can be very physical on a small pitch like that, and you know, they can get, you know, they can bottle you up. They know how to play defensively very well. Like, they drop back very quick when the ball breaks down, and that's what they done. That's what they done the other night. And you know, it's typical Rathnew. Go 5 points down. Everyone is looking, saying, "Oh, here it comes," and then they win by 4, and you're saying, "Sure, there it is again." And that's, you know, it's the nature of the beast, and that's what they've made their name doing. To be fair to them, you know.
I was in Ockram. I wasn't at the match. I was in Ockram at Shillelagh Cuboy v Ashford, and I was just trying to follow updates and things like that. And I want to apologise. We got the result wrong on the night. That was an error on my own behalf. You see, you're trying to do updates. You're trying to take notes and you're trying to video, and I had my daughter there with me trying to train her in on the updates, and she got the result wrong. And we all know ourselves on the social media, if you get it wrong, you don't be long about getting gobbled up. And she kind of went into a puddle there now, so she did fairly quickly. She couldn't be. So she's retired. She took on the job one night and she has self-retired since anyway, so I may start going further afield. But anyway, that's...
Yeah, you just said you were at the Shillelagh Cuboy and Ashford. That was the Division 3. That was the Cup final,
Finnegan Cup
final.
Yeah.
Shillelagh Cuboy came out on top again, 119 to 115 over Ashford.
After extra time.
This is the third time these teams have played in recent weeks. So another cracker served up at them.
I'm going to say, lads, there's nothing between these, you know, and they're good. Like, there was a few rash moments, an odd card throughout, but I won't say there wasn't any dirt, and it was just more frustration now at that end of it, you know. good battles. These boys are going toe to toe again. They're going to meet maybe again later on in the championship, but they're very, very entertaining for Division 3 football, lads. And like Martin Fitz, the chairman, said afterwards that some of the senior teams credit to come and look at him. You know, like both teams were down a few injuries. They're after dropping a few soldiers through the game with legs hanging off them and cramp and this, that and the other. And there it is tonight anyway. But so that's the way that game went. Great to see, as Paddy Warren Smokes back in the goal for Shalala Coolboy.
How long will they have him in the goal?
Well,
they're 3 points down. I wonder would he be in it.
Well, I said it there in the press box that when they were gone to extra time, they had to bring on Noel Murphy. I'd have fired Noel done very well when he come in. I'd have fired Noel into the goal and I'd have brought Smokes out, because no one would like to see Smokes coming out there now. But he pulled off 2 fabulous saves now, to be fair to him, you know. And let's say, man of the match that night for me was Dan Nolan. Man, he's just made of iron, and there's an engine in him that any club would love to have him. So that's your away. You were in Air Oak, I think.
I was in Arklow at the Air Oak and Kiltegan game. Closer game than sort of the scoring stage. It was 2-13 to Air Oak, 15 points. So a 4-point win for Air Oak, but Kiltegan were right in it, up for the duration of the game. I think we said earlier that Rory Finn, if he played, he would be a big difference. Rory did play. They had as good a half forward as you'd see in the county. I think like Rory Finn, Shawnee Germain, and I think Podge Tools is a fair full half forward line.
That's a strong line, like, you know.
Yeah.
Going in against the half back line that was Sean at Chester, it would be a good line as well. Like, so, do you know what I mean? It's just the difference those sort of players make when they do come to the gate. You know, it makes a massive difference to Kiltegan, like, and you know, probably the couple of goals were the killer punches.
Now they can say that Air Oak did miss a penalty as well at one stage, but Kiltegan just wouldn't go away, and they kept chipping in. Sean Germain fired over a good few scores from the place balls, so they were thereabouts the whole way through it. But that's just it. Like, Air Oak got a goal at the important time. I think Buster Flynn scored a goal in the last 2 minutes, and that sort of put the game to bed in that clash anyway. But
look, we haven't really a whole lot to hit on here tonight. There's, as I do, the Wicklow under 20s are out there Saturday, so there's no game on. There's 2 games on Sunday in the Hurling, and another Monday night and Tuesday night.
Just one tomorrow night, Friday night.
Sorry, just one Friday night, intermediate one Friday night there, with Carnew and Kilcole, St. Pat's, Kilcole, whichever you want to give them the title as. Some lads say they don't want to be, they shouldn't be called St. Pat's. That's their own business. I think Kilcole slightly have the edge there on Carnew.
I would imagine so. If Kilcole, how they've come out of football at the weekend, they'll probably, if they've everyone fitting well.
Well, I was at that. I saw nothing. They only made one.
I'd say I think Carnew were struggling a little bit. They're dependent on all legs now at this stage as well. If Kilcole have the Keddies and Luke Evans and all firing on all cylinders, they should. If they're going to try and win this championship, you'd imagine they should be trying to dispose of Carnew. But look, you know, the old dog for the hard road sometimes as well. If Kilcole do happen to be missing a player or two, Carnew will be bang there, I'm sure. I think they've lost 2 already, Carnew, to the senior team, and they've no junior team this year. So, you know, that's usually you had the junior team to fall back on to take 2 or 3 from then as well. So
to fill the gap.
Yeah. So however Carnew had the last night, they're probably going to have to switch around and do what they can do out of the same number. So that's just why I'd side slightly with Kilcole on that one, because if everyone is fitting well for Kilcole and they're by a win in the football last week as well, that, you know, energy should be high up there, and I just think that they might sneak over the line. I think Carnew will do well to stay competitive.
They're my pick to win the intermediate hurling anyway. So,
but like if the weather, I don't know what the forecast is. The weather's like this, like you'd have to fancy a younger team.
Yeah, I'd probably be chased out of Carnew with pitchforks for saying that now. But look,
well, you might have a chance to redeem yourself in a few minutes. But the other match, the intermediate, Arthur Rocks are playing Glen Ely. Arthur Rocks have come up through who they played last. They bet Barndarrig last week. So they're playing Glen Ely, who also bet Barndarrig. They got a goal threat. They got 3 early goals against Barndarrig in their game with them, and Barndarrig chipped away, but Glen Ely got the win. It's a tough one to call with Arklow, isn't it?
It is. Again, it's down to Glen Ely who they're going to use maybe on the Monday night.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tough call enough either way, because they could be, maybe if they have an injury or two for the senior panel, they could be shearing someone from the intermediate that won't play. It's hard to call. Well, it's very hard to call the intermediate. The Rocks will have who they have, barring an injury or something. It's hard to know at Glenealy, but again, that goal threat that against Barnderry, the Glenealy goal threat, I know the Rocks scored goals against them as well, but that'll be a very tight match in my book. It's a hard one to call. It'll really come down. I'd like to give me a verdict when they're warming up.
yeah. But sure, that's it. Like we're just singing her off the cuff here because we don't know what way they're lining up and who they have. But what you hear on with the Carnew thing, they've no junior team. The Glenealy do. Yeah. But also Rocks have a junior team at the present minute as well. Whether they'll feature in championship, we don't know, because obviously you're going to have to see who they're going to need, who they're not going to need. But I'm going to go for the Rocks.
Yeah, well, look, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to call a draw.
Oh.
The two of them seem to be goal happy, and I think it could be a tight affair. And I'm going, both sides have good free takers. I think it'll be very tight. I'm going to go for a draw, an unusual one in a hurling match, but I think I'm just going to call it that way. And again, that's more out of like a knowledge of what's coming than anything else. But I just think, they look to be two of them in form enough. The two of them kind of had the same result against Barnderry, if you wanted to go that way. It was the kind of matches seemed to match one another. So
11-2 for the draw. It's not a bad old punt now if you want to.
Yeah, well, you see.
It's going to be a close one, I think. Yeah, definitely. But
11-2 is actually not a great price to winners in closure. Any draw you get is 8-1 or 9-1. I think they're covering themselves a bit there now at 11-2.
Arklow are slight favourites at 10 or 11-10 on, and Glenealy are 11-10. So there's nothing between them. Everything there. That's the last of the intermediate matches for the weekend coming. Just before we move on to senior, we're just going to play a quick ad break, and we'll be back to you in a minute.
We'll be chattering and nattering in the garden county shed, but if the decent match comes up, then we'll do that instead.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
Murphy's Liquidation Furniture and Garden County Sport. We'll be chattering and nattering in the garden county shed, but if the decent match comes up, then we'll do that instead.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
Murphy's Liquidation Furniture and Garden County Sport.
Yep, so welcome back here now. Anyway, so we're back. We're going to he now on the Senior Hurling Championship. So Sunday there is Kiltegan are out, and there again Pats in Aughrim. They're going to be up again it now. You've Pats there now in the hunt, strong to try get up that ladder. Emmett.
Yeah, look, Pats. I mean, Pats have. I seen him against Carnew the last night. They were probably. Felt a little bit unlucky. They were beaten with 14 men. Carnew showed a bit of fire that night to come back and win that match. I just think, Aughrim, Kiltegan, I'll have to be really on their game. I think it's almost a carbon copy of what we spoke about with Shawnee in the football the other night. If for all money they have to stop the ball going into Andy if they're going to have any chance in here. If Andy gets the run of the game, he's as good a forward as is played in any championship in any county, to be fair to him. He's as good a goal getter as around. And look, if he's on song and he's on his day, Kiltegan could be in a little bit of bother in that one. He's capable of rattling 3, 8 or 9 any day, and that's the type of player he is. And George B. O'Brien is there beside him as well, a fantastic player. Yeah. He's having a great couple of years as well, So look, I know it's hard. Kiltegan are competing. They went down fighting against their Rogue. It's hard to see him getting over the line again, Pats, as well, to be honest. It's just hard. It's just one of those years for them. I think they're a shake off the pace maybe just with some of those teams. And look, it's the nature of the championship as it is.
Yeah. But first of all, we'll just go back to the competition we have out there at the minute through Winners and Closure. Not a bad old punt now. €10 free bet on the fourth text in there or WhatsApp into 087 193 4382. And it is Carnew to beat Kilcool in the intermediate, Arklow Rocks to beat Gleneely in the intermediate, Bray to beat Avondale in the senior, Pats to beat Kiltegan in the senior, and Carnew to beat Gleneely. I think the one Carnew to beat Gleneely, that's a tough one to call. Like the Carnew to beat Kilcool, that's a potential banana skin there, or anything as well. And you're talking Pats Kiltegan. I think I think you're talking Pats there on that one anyway. And we'll go on then to Bray and Avondale.
Bray have set the pace at the minute. Avondale have been very competitive in their matches. I think they scored 17 points against Gleneely the day they played. They seem to be beavering away a little bit up there again and putting in a bit of an effort. I think for Avondale, they need to get everyone out again. As we're saying, it's kind of like Kiltegan. They need to have all shoulders to the wheel. They need, like John Henderson went off with an injury in the football match. Whether he'll be playing at the weekend, you have to take those things into consideration. But I still think Bray, the way they've started, the way they're playing at the minute, as I alluded to earlier on an earlier programme, they seem to have all the right names in all the right places. Their house seems to be in order, and it's just hard to see. It's hard to see Avondale living with that.
Well, like look at their scoring ratio. They're 70 to far vast ahead of everyone else. Like Carnew was 50 to the next of them. Like against 36, like, and there's only one under them on 34, which is Carnew. So like they are going to be hard to stop. They're definitely they're definitely out favourites there now at the minute. And you're coming then to the next game, which is Carnew Gleneely. And we've had this there last week.
But it looks like just go back. Bray have 6 goals in 3 games. Like they have that scoring threat up top, like as well. Like they can get goals.
Davy Maloney, Pádraig Doyle, Christy Morehouse, Dermot Masterson, all in the forwards at the minute. There's a threat about them. They're dangerous. Those lads can pick scores from. Like, you can't just stand off them either, They can pick scores from 50, 60 yards out on the run, no problem as well. You can't just lie back and, say, we'll hold out till dark sort of thing, They'll pick off their scores from around, like the Hendersons can score, Luke Maloney's midfield, they've an array of hurlers there at the minute, like, and... But
look what they're doing compared to some other teams. Go back to Carnew, they're relying on a lot of dead balls. Like, Bray, they're scoring a good bit. Their ratio scoring from play is very good, which is a big thing. Let's take nothing away from him. And I don't know who on the free is. He's absolutely superb. But like if he gets hurt,
yeah. But look, we were coming to the Carnew Gleneely match, and that was my Carnew scored 50 points. They haven't threatened the goalie in 3 matches, which is a major worry, to be honest.
Yeah,
they've no goals, and now with 50 points, I think Enda's got 36 of those.
He's definitely up around there. Anyway.
Yeah, so like. That's nearly 70% of your scores coming from one man. So like I'm not letting out the secrets of the town there or anybody. Like that's there. That's on paper for anyone to see.
It's there.
You know what I mean? So like the Carnew are going to have to find scores from other places. They're going to have to start finding a goal threat. They've got to where they are. They've won their 3 matches, that's fair. But they're going to have to, if they're going to step up on last year and go one better than just getting to a final, they're going to have to find a goal threat and find more scores from play. Yeah. And that's, And on the game on Monday night, it's moved back to Monday.
Yeah,
that's where I think it's going to come down to. I think if Carnew can find a goal, I think they can win Monday night. And I think a win Monday night will be massive going forward because it'll put them into it near enough into the semi-final without playing a quarter-final.
Yeah.
But I just think Gleneely's knack for goals could catch Carnew on Monday evening again. And again, you're back to who Gleneely have. They've a few injuries. Paul O'Brien was nursing an injury. Warren is out. There's a few. You're back to I'll give me a verdict when the ball's being thrown in, sort of.
Again, yeah.
You know what I mean? But like it depends on how they feel. But I just think.
But it's good to trash it out anyway. Like
but I just think the knack for goal at the minute is, no matter how good your free taker is, if the other team get 2 goals, there's a lot of winning on 7 frees and a lot of scoring on them.
Yeah.
To be hit, and that's just at the minute. That's what I think at the minute. So
like this could be. You don't have to answer it, but. There's a good bit still to come out of Carnew.
I think so. I think they're just. I think they set their stall out early. They've won their match. I think this week is massive for them.
Yeah.
I think if they can beat Glenealy Monday night and win against Dunlavin in the intermediate football, I think it puts them in a serious position going forward, because if they can rule out 2 quarter-finals early September, you know, it makes an awful difference when you're pulling from the same pool of players.
And it's all about headspace and having your right attitude and all. And it's coming off the back of a good win in the football as well. So they're in a good place, like all around.
And as I said to you before, it seems like if James Hickey asked them to run to
backwards up the
Crow Patrick, they'd go, like, you know, and that's great. That's brilliant. But as I just said, like, if you're asking me honestly, I just think the goal threat, I think it needs to be addressed. We need to find some way of getting goals in there. And look, as you said, I don't think this Carnew team is the finished article. Like, you won't be in a semi-final or final until the end of September, early October. So, like, you're not going to blow anything out of the water at the minute. You know?
Like, just going back, like, did a comfortable win over Kiltegan earlier in the... That was a good while ago. Yeah, it was start of June or whatever. But then they sort of struggled over Greystones, and now they got their act together and bet Pats by 2 points. Like, it's not a bad Pats team either, like, you know, so... No, well, they're starting to hit the right road now, like. Yeah.
Look at I think Carnew only got 4 points in last year's league in the hurling, 3 or 4 points. So they've beaten that target with 3 matches to go this year. Yeah. You know, I think it was 4 or 5 points. I think they'd 1 draw and 2 wins, and you know, they ended up in a quarter final and got, but
5 points.
5 points, yeah. So they've 6 now, you know, and they've 3 matches left to play. So, like, that's an improvement. You know, you're talking about, it might seem small, but it is an improvement. And look, I think we're talking a bit about Carnew. Glenealy are the champions. I think we can't forget that. And they're champions 2 years in a row for a reason. And look, they've an array of hurlers. They've good lads coming through all the time. And the one thing about the Glenealy lads are, they'll always be hurling.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, if there's 30 lads in that field every night, they're hurling, and that's credit to everyone around them and credit to themselves as well. They're a committed bunch, and that's why they are where they are. And you know,
no, you're dead right. You know, because as soon as you're able to pick up a hurl, you have it in your hand.
Yeah, and that's, look, it's great, it's brilliant.
Even if you're walking to the shop.
Yeah, every time you drive through it, you'll meet 7 or 8 young lads with hurls, and that's why they are, and that's why they keep building. But look, I think it could be a little bit shadow boxing Monday night, if I'm honest. I think Carnew will want to win, Glenealy will want to win. There'll be no one going out not to win the match. But I just think there's a good bit going on in the background with them all as well, and I think
there is, like,
you know, there's injuries, there's people won't be chanced if they're on an injury, and I think it'll be a match that, as I said, I just think the goal threat might just turn it.
Right. So there we are on that end of it, Kev.
That's it. Yeah. So
as I said, we haven't got a whole lot really to delve into tonight. We've kind of hit on a few parts of it. We can just go a quick mention there now at the minute to the Division 4 football is Rathnew are leading their side of it in the east. I think they're going for 11 wins out of 11 tonight. And at the other side of it, Avondale are winning, but they had a little hiccup last week with again Dunlavin, who were hot on their tails in second place. So it's the winner in each group goes on to play each other, and the winner of that goes to play in Division 3. But there's a small little bit of a problem there now with Division 3, because Rathnew have come down out of intermediate to Division 3, and if Rathnew win, they can't go up. Well, I've heard, I'm still waiting on clarification for some of this, and if anyone out there that does know, right, give us a shout.
Yeah, just my question would be, if Avondale or Dunlavin get to the final with them and were beaten, do they still go up? If Rathnew beat them in the Division 4 final, would the loser still go up because Rathnew can't go up?
I think so.
But my question.
Well, this is what I'm coming at. I've been told 2 different scenarios here, that they can't play in the same championship together, but they can play in the same league together, if it's allowed, right? I've also heard that the loser would go up, obviously, if it was to be Avondale or Dunlavin, whichever, you know. So that's what, if anyone else out there knows.
It's one of those ones, I'd say the county board are probably saying we'll wait and see what'll happen.
Well, I tell you, I'm kind of
that's what I'd be doing.
Well, I'm kind of part of that franchise, and I'm probably selling myself saying that I don't really know, because I actually don't. I'm not that deep involved in it and that end of it as such. But if there is, as I say, if there's anyone out there, contact us there on Facebook Messenger and Garden County Sport. Drop us in a message. And once again, if there's anything else out there that you're listening to or you know and want to know that we can probably help you with, feel free to text us in anytime. It'll be back up now on SoundCloud and all or other. We're on Spotify now. We're gone real big up in the world now.
But just look, we're only here giving an opinion as well. So like, if there's something we're not covering as well, give us a shout.
Yeah, absolutely. We can only dish out the information. Like we're working ourselves during the day, lads. We're doing the best we can. Not looking for sympathy here or anything like that. But the more stuff that's fired in front of us that we can help you with, lads, absolutely fire it on, and we will.
And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the podcast, and once it's up online. So make sure you can always come back to us for more. We
won't be around to say. Yeah, I know, but what I want to say, we've another competition coming up. We're not around Friday night. We've another competition coming out next Thursday that we were going to have 2 free tickets. See, this is obviously live, so we've the winner for the competition for tonight, and that is Claudia Byrne. And we will be in contact with you after this, Claudia. Congratulations. And so people obviously are listening back to this and they didn't realise that it's a live competition, right? So we're going to have another competition. We're getting text messages during the middle in the morning of lad could be over in Bangladesh, looking to get in on the action, right? So we're going to, for people to listen back to it, we have a competition coming out for you, and what the competition is going to be, we're still going to try to find out. But the winner are going to get 2 free tickets to a match in Ockram of their choice. Of the weekend of that weekend, so that's what we're doing next week. So we're just trying to spread the love around, guys. We're, as I say, the more listens we get, the more followers we get, the best we get, the help we get. It's going good. We're getting good reviews back. We haven't heard too much negativity here, which I'm very surprised of, because you don't belong of being shot down. But look at once again, we're going to
go to an interview with a Arklow man now, who is part of the Wexford Eagles American football team. They're playing in the All-Ireland semi-final on Sunday, and he's also at the moment on the Irish Wolfhounds panel. So we're going to go to Graham here now, and we'll be back to you soon. So now we're joined now by Graham Jenkinson, a member of the Wexford Eagles American football team living in Arklow. Graham, big game on Sunday coming up for the team.
Yeah, massive. It'll be our 4th semi-final in 4 years. We just need to get over the hump,
Yeah, like I remember, which is 2 years ago, we came agonisingly close up in Craigavon. This year, what's the mood like in the camp? I know it's been a very, very difficult year for the club, but what's the mood like at the moment?
We're upbeat, Kevin. You know yourself. We've had a bit of a turbulent year between one thing and another, but we're confident. Yeah, and that's no disrespect to the team we're playing, but we're confident that we can go out there and do a job and give a good account of ourselves. Yeah,
well, that's exactly what the Wexford Eagles mantra has been for a few years. We're always sort of quietly confident that we can do something. I'm speaking of we, because I still consider myself a part of the family there. Graham, you joined the team in his first year. I think you were a little bit later to the party, but how did you become involved with the Wexford Eagles?
I've loved the sport since I was a young lad. And it was through a friend that I found out that they started a team in Gorey, which is just down the road from where I'm from. So it fell in my lap. So it was a godsend for me,
Yeah, and Alan as well. Graham is a very, very enthusiastic man. I think he considers himself to be the face of the team, the face of the franchise down there.
Well, I didn't consider myself that. I'm just good looking enough to be the face of the team,
Kind of like myself with Garden County Sport. I'm kind of the face of that, like.
He is a face for the radio.
Yeah.
But Graham, you're 4 years now, and you've been moving up through the ranks. As I said, he came in. Was it second or third game for Wexford, or?
It was the second game. They literally, what happened was I found out that there was a team down there, and I was talking about going down to training. They had their first full contact game with gear. I found out about that, and then I was down at the next training session. I wasn't ready for the second game, but then I came in the third game of the first season.
Yeah, hooked from day one.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Playing it is even better than watching it for me. Yeah. And as I loved it. From 9 years of age, I've been watching it.
But Graham, tell me, what physical toll does it take on your body? Like, how to keep ready for a game, to keep right for a game, and like after a game to get yourself back in order again? Like, does it take much of a toll on you?
That would depend on the position you play. I mean, it's not obviously it's a very physical sport. But, you know, I've been quite lucky, really. I mean, with regards to injuries and stuff like that. But I mean, it's much the same as rugby. If anyone's ever played rugby, it'd be along the same lines, you know.
Yeah.
Personally, I keep myself well conditioned in the gym, but you know, it's like anything else. You get used to it. You find after your first couple of games of any season, your recovery time seems to be quicker, believe it or not.
Right.
Just as you get used to it as it goes along. Yeah,
100%. Your body adapts, and your body gets used to it. And I mean, you'll be having full contact practices and stuff like that. So you just build yourself up gradually.
So, like, how do you advertise things like that? Because, like, it's not a sport that be that well known around Ireland or Wicklow as such, you know, because it's across the water. In America, it's very, very big over there. Now, I know England are trying to spread out as well. Like, and like a few of my friends over here, I haven't a clue, to tell you the truth. I've tried to sit down and look at a few matches with Kevin, and he's tried to explain to me. Now, I just cannot take it in. And people say to me that you have to play it to understand what's going on. You know, that with some of the rules. To me, you're pegging the ball and getting broke up.
Well, the thing is, if you were to come down and join the team, and I know Kevin's going to come back next year. If you come down, you'll be coached and trained. You know, our coaches are first class. We were really lucky with. I mean, when John and Arthur started the team, they picked the right guys. We were very lucky that fell into our lap, and they know exactly what they're talking about. They both won Shamrock Bowls in Ireland. I mean, the league's been going about 40 years now, so it's not new in Ireland.
Well, I appreciate that, but I don't think all the coaches in the world will be able to get me to play that game, to tell you the truth. Harry Houdini wouldn't be able to get me right for that game now, to tell you the
But it can't be that bad now. There's something for everyone. There's something for everyone in American football.
I think we need. Well, I think the Wexford Eagles might need someone to carry water. I think that's all he's good for. But
I think equal as well.
And pon-pons. He's very good with the cheerleading as well. But
he's a looker.
Yeah, no. But Graham, the Wexford Eagles and Westmeath Minotaurs have met numerous times over the last 3 seasons anyway, since promotion to Division 1. Always a very tough battle with them, isn't it?
Oh, listen, they're a very well coached side. We know each other very well, and as it stands, we've played each other 4 times, and we've won 2. They've won 2.
Yeah.
So you couldn't call it, and they performed very well against us earlier in the year, and hopefully we've adapted and changed enough to give them a bit of a run, more of a run for their money. I think you were down in that game.
I was. My one appearance so far this year. Unfortunately,
I remember seeing you there. I was going to give you the pitch, and then I thought that probably wasn't the game to give you the pitch. You know,
you don't have to pitch to me, Graham. Never. For those listening, Graham is on the Irish Wolfhounds panel as well. So, like, you know, this man has took up the sport 4 seasons ago and is a member of the Irish Wolfhounds. You're on the team. You're on the panel last year as well, Graham.
Yeah, on the panel last year. I didn't make the cut last year. Hopefully, we've had a few trainings this year. We have a game in Belgium in September, so hopefully the coaches will see enough of me to pick me this time. But I mean, it's a great honour to be involved with the team in any stretch. You know, I didn't think at this stage of my life that I would be involved in any national team of any sort.
Yeah.
So to be involved with a team that I love, in a sport that I love, for a country that I love, it's just amazing. You know.
Yeah, like it's a massive achievement for yourself. Like I know exactly what you bring to a team, your drive and your passion for your team and your teammates. I remember I played a game on the O-line for up in Dundalk, and I got constant messages off Graham telling me exactly what to do before the game. So I know what you bring, Graham, and I'm sure you will do yourself very, very proud on that panel, and hopefully you will make the cut for that one.
Yeah, hopefully. As I say, all I can do is go to the practices and try and put my best foot forward, you know, and just bring everything. As I always say to the guys, just leave everything on the table and have no regrets at the end of it. As long as you have no regrets, I think that's the main thing, really, you know?
Yeah. You're a ready-made captain. Just if the Irish Wolfhounds management team want to listen in, I think you've a ready-made captain here in Graham. Graham, you're just mentioning to travelling to Belgium. Surely there's a cost in that for, I suppose, everyone involved, like the team and I'm sure the players as well. How can people get involved with this?
Oh, that's a good point. Thanks, Kevin. Could everyone just, if anyone is on Facebook, if you just go and give the Wexford Eagles a like, and you can follow our progress, but also if you could give the Irish Wolfhounds a like, because we're always looking for sponsors, and obviously the more people we have that are on the page and viewing the page, it's obviously more appealing to sponsors, because obviously the money aside for American football in this country wouldn't be big. And our general manager, Eleanor, is doing a great job, but if we could help him out, that would be great. Yeah,
100%. No, we will echo that sentiment there, Graham. As we said, the Wexford Eagles out on Sunday against the Westmeath Ministers, away to the Westmeath Ministers. A 6-2 record in the regular season for the Eagles, so a good year again. So Graham, we're going to wish you the best of luck. Hopefully it's going to be a victory, and hopefully a victory in the bowl final as well. And with a bit of luck, we might be back on to you at the end of the year when you're hopefully going to Belgium with the Irish Wolfhounds.
Listen, that'd be great. And listen, thanks for considering me, and thanks for giving me a call, Kevin and Alan. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Graham.
Graham, thanks very much.
Thanks very much. See you now.
So folks, that's all for this week's show. We won't be here on Monday, unfortunately we're away, but we'll be back next Thursday night with another weekend preview and a roundup of this weekend's games. So thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll be back to you next week. Thank you.
We'll be chattering and nattering in the Garden County shed, but if a decent match comes up, then we'll do that instead.
Winners Enclosure Bookmakers, your local independent bookmaker. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram for all our daily specials and enhanced odds. Phone us on 1890 429 863.
Murphy's Liquidation Furniture and Garden County Sport.